What prevents political leaders from exercising unlimited power? What protects ordinary citizens when government authorities violate their rights? In the United States, the answer lies in one of the central principles of American democracy: the rule of law. The rule of law means that the country is governed by publicly established laws rather than by the personal wishes of rulers. It also means that everyone, including presidents, public officials, judges, institutions, and private citizens, is subject to the law. The American understanding of the rule of law developed from several historical and philosophical traditions. English documents such as the Magna Carta of 1215 established the principle that even the monarch's authority could be limited by law. Later, Enlightenment thinkers such as John Locke argued that governments derive their legitimacy from the consent of the governed and must protect individual rights. These ideas profoundly influenced the founders of the United States. When the United States Constitution was drafted in 1787, its authors sought to create a government powerful enough to govern effectively, but sufficiently constrained to prevent tyranny and abuse. The Constitution therefore became the supreme law of the country. Government institutions, elected representatives, and public officials must exercise their authority within its legal and constitutional boundaries. Several principles form the foundation of the American rule of law. The first is equality before the law. In principle, the same laws apply to everyone, irrespective of wealth, social position, political influence, race, religion, or public office. No individual is supposed to receive special immunity merely because of their status or power. The second principle is constitutional supremacy. The Constitution stands above ordinary legislation and government decisions. Any law or government action that conflicts with the Constitution may be challenged and declared unconstitutional. The third principle is due process of law. The Fifth and 14th Amendments require government authorities to follow fair legal procedures before depriving individuals of life, liberty, or property. People accused of crimes are entitled to legal protections such as a fair trial, legal representation, and the presumption of innocence. The fourth principle is the separation of powers. Government authority is divided among the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. Congress makes laws, the president and executive agencies implement them, and the courts interpret them. Through a system of checks and balances, each branch can limit the power of the others. This arrangement reduces the possibility that one person or institution will acquire unrestricted authority. The judiciary plays a particularly important role in protecting the rule of law. In the landmark 1803 case, Marbury v. Madison, the Supreme Court established the principle of judicial review. This means that federal courts can examine legislation and government actions and invalidate them when they conflict with the Constitution. Another significant case was United States v. Nixon in 1974. The Supreme Court ruled that President Richard Nixon had to comply with a judicial order requiring him to release evidence connected to the Watergate investigation. The decision demonstrated a fundamental principle: even the president is not above the law. The rule of law also requires laws to be publicly known, reasonably clear, consistently applied, and enforced by legitimate institutions. Citizens must have access to courts where they can challenge unlawful decisions and seek legal remedies. The rule of law is also a democratic aspiration, extending well beyond legal doctrine. Throughout American history, laws have not always been applied equally. Slavery, racial segregation, discrimination, and unequal access to justice demonstrate the considerable distance that has sometimes existed between constitutional ideals and social realities. For this reason, the rule of law must continually be protected and strengthened. It depends on responsible institutions, ethical public officials, independent judges, professional law enforcement bodies, a free press, and citizens who are prepared to defend their rights. The American rule of law rests on a straightforward yet powerful idea. Government must operate through law, and those who exercise power must themselves remain accountable to the law. It protects individual rights, constrains political authority, and provides peaceful mechanisms for resolving disputes. Without the rule of law, constitutional rights would be little more than promises on paper. With it, the Constitution becomes a living framework for justice, accountability, and democratic government.